Hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com, where music comes to life. I'm really excited to talk to my next guest today. You may know him as the bass player of the classic lineup of Great White, and then the guitarist in Jack Russell's current version. But he also has a really cool new project out called Shadow and the Thrill, where he handles guitars and vocals and a whole mess of other stuff. So please welcome Tony Montana. Tony, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Anytime. And now, a lot of people might not yet be familiar with Shadow and the Thrill, so can you give me a little bit of the history of how the band came together?
Basically, in around 2013, I guess, I started really bearing down on a collection of tunes that I've been mulling about for a while, and I really wanted to do something kind of special. I didn't want to just put it through my normal project mill that that I would normally do, I guess, and just kind of get the songs out and getting them demoed or whatever. I felt like I was ready to do it for real. I really wanted collaboration from somebody that I thought was going to add something to the tracks. And his Brent Arcement, I played on and off with Brent over the years. In the 2000s, we played on and off, and it always struck me as a drummer that really had a sense of groove that really matched mine. It's kind of very simpatico. You know what I mean? So I thought, well, this is the guy, and he had actually moved back to his home in New Orleans, and I thought, well, that's it. I'm going to New Orleans. I'm gonna record an album in New Orleans, apparently. So
there are worse places to go.
Yeah, and the truth is, I've always loved the city, and there's there's plenty of vibe there to go around. So
exactly,
it just worked out, and since this is really very much a blues influenced album, what better place to do it than in the South?
Yeah. And you guys put out a handful of singles this year. Is there a full record coming?
There is the full CD is available on our website on shadowandthethrillonline.com or shadowandthethrill.com. Yeah. And so the CD is available, and we just, I guess, in these, in this era, it just seemed, it seemed a way for us to approach getting the music out by letting out one single at a time on iTunes and the streaming services.
Yeah, they're available on all the streaming services. Yeah.
Yeah. So the truth is that we waited. All the tracks that we have put out are obviously we're very proud of everything on the album, but we felt that Sugar Bowl was the latest single that we did put out, was definitely one of the really strong. I think the title track of the album. We felt it was very strong, and actually the response to it has been wonderful. We're put on some track of the week contest with ClassicRock.com, and that's a real well-known UK magazine, and we got put up against a bunch of bands that have massive followings and major label support, and I cannot believe that we actually won it. So so people are reacting to the track, and if they like that one, then I think we're going to have a nice little run here with the rest of the singles that are coming.
Yeah, and the song Sugar Bowl, I mean, again, that one in particular has that New Orleans vibe. I mean, from the title on down. So when you guys were writing, I mean, what's the writing process with you and Brent? Did you work on it together, or did you kind of do things separately and then bring them together as you were recording?
I had demoed up Sugar Bowl years and years before, and I'd just kind of been hoarding it, quite frankly.
waiting for the right project.
Well, yeah. I mean, wait for something that felt like, okay, this is worthy of the song. And truth be known, I did present it to. There was a point where Jack Russell and his collaborator for his album were looking for tunes, and I did submit it, and it kind of just never moved on it. And I thought, well, okay, well, I'm going to do it then. And so I did. I took it to Brent, and that was one of the first 5 songs that we attacked in New Orleans, and Brent brought such a different approach to the demo. The demo of the song is much more acoustic driven and not quite as heavy. A little more Led Zeppelin 3, let's say. You know what I mean?
You can hear that in the vibe of the song. That would work.
Yeah, we decided to take it a little more of a, Hendrixy, Robin Trower, heavier direction, and his drum track and his B3 track just made it just kind of magical, honestly. And we also did an acoustic version of the song. We kind of redid that and there's a Nashville producer that took the tracks and mixed them, and that is going to be a bonus track for the vinyl version of the album, which is coming out in 2020.
Oh, great. And, of some of the other singles, Misery, I think, probably sounds the most like what people would expect from you. Love Song, to me, was just a total airworm. I think I heard it once, and it was in my head for about 4 days.
Nice.
There you go. But I got to say, the one that really caught my attention was Shake the Devil. I'm a huge Tommy Bolin fan. And, Teaser gets all the attention, but Private Eyes, if you're a fan, it's just as amazing. And, I saw the title, but it never occurred to me that you were going to cover that song until I was listening to it. Where did that idea come from?
It didn't occur to me either. And the truth be known, my old manager, Alan Niven, had suggested this Tommy Bolin track to me a long time ago. Not this one, but the other one that we covered for the album. Shake the Devil is unfortunately not on the album. We did a video and we did release it as a single, but he had suggested that I covered The Grind.
Okay.
Which, when I had first heard that song, and we're talking a long time ago that Alan suggested this to me, I heard that song and I thought, how come I've never heard this before? This is a hit. This is a hit song, and Alan is well known for choosing great songs and great bands, and so he chose that and he said, you should do this. I'm like, okay, put that in my back pocket as well, and so I'm kind of learning about Tommy and getting more educated about his contributions to Deep Purple and to James Gang and
such underrated talent. Yeah.
Oh, it just well, the guy just wasn't around long enough. And, so when we started recording the album, my manager Pete Marluzzi said, you should hear this track too. And he played the original version, Shake the Devil, and I thought the groove of it is just absolutely perfect for Brent and for me and for us together. And I thought, man, I'm doing this one too. And there was like, okay, well, you're going to do 2 Tommy Bolin? Yeah, whatever. We won't put both of them on an album because that's a little goofy, but I'm covering this song, and I'm going to turn it into a monster. And so that's what we did. And I besides Brent's, amazing drumming, which if there are drummers out there, if you love, Jeff Porcaro kind of type of a drummer, Brent is your new guy to follow because he just kills it on that track. He came up with a wonderful, thing. And then Talissa Long is a local New Orleans girl singer, and she came in and just wailed on it. So love that track too.
Yeah, because the vibe of it really fits into the whole feel of the band, which I thought was really cool. You've played a couple of shows as Shadow and the Thrill, including even a couple of nights ago, if I'm not mistaken. What's the reaction been, and how does it feel actually bringing these songs to life?
It's interesting. We do a couple of other covers, and we did, and probably the most notable and the next single from us is going to be a cover of Gnarls Barkley's "Crazy." Oh wow! We've done we did a blues version of it, a blues rock version of it, and my arrangement is pretty different. Nobody's going to expect this one, I don't think. And when we do whip that out, people are like, you see them go, well, this is cool, and I think I know this, but I can't. And then it clicks, and then like, oh, I love feeling that moment. There's actual palpable, I get it kind of thing that comes from the audience, and then they start singing along with you. And it's pretty awesome. So we've had some really wonderful slots that we've done great openings for some major bands out there. We actually opened for Jefferson Starship, and we opened for Vince Neil, and so those folks are just about the right demo for us too, and they just they jump right in, and they seem to be enjoying it. So we're looking forward to playing out quite a bit more in 2020.
Well, and that's a really good thing. So I think people kind of go in with a preconceived notion of what the band's going to be based on your history, but I think once they hear it and see you guys live, it's a completely new thing that really doesn't sound like anything else. It's definitely impressive.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that, and I really wanted besides having a drummer like Brent, the inclusion of the B3 as a major sound and instrument in the band was really important to me, and the background singer girls. I've just been dreaming about doing this forever, and at some point, when it's financially feasible for us, the idea of having a B3, a permanent B3 guy and a collection of three girls maybe handling backups. If that's the kind of band I want, that would be wonderful.
And now let's go back through your history a little bit. You originally joined Great White for the tour for Once Bitten, if I'm not mistaken. How did you initially hook up with those guys?
I met the band. Well, truth be known, I was in an LA band playing guitar that used to open up for Great White during their transition. They had a major label release. They were let go from EMI, and then they came back home to Los Angeles, regrouped, put out another album, played around LA again. And my band, a band called Mutiny, used to open up to them, and those were, I will tell you right now, some of the funnest shows I'd ever done in my life, even till today, because it was fun, and I was a fan of Great White. I was a fan of the band. The very first EP that they put out with songs like Street Killer, No Way, Out of the Night, the very first EP, not the one that they did for EMI. Right. The Don Hawkins produced EP. I was a huge fan, and so it felt like the big time. You know what I mean? I had been studying music in college and playing guitar and doing whatever, and I was teaching at a store in the Los Angeles area, and one of the sales guys, a guy named Stephen Williams, was such a sweet guy, and he was the co-writer of Great White's Save Your Love.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was tight with the band, and he came to me one day at the store and said, hey, you know, they're looking for somebody to come in and play bass. You should go and check this out. And that's how I got hooked up with the band again. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I had been teaching, you know, music, basically. That's how I would say, right. You know, bass, guitar, whatever, at the store. And I had so many bass students, and I was just, I thought, you know, it doesn't matter to me. I want to be in something that's good. Yeah. And I was already a fan. I said, yeah, I'm going to go for this. And went for the audition. And then, you know, it really did turn out to be a good, I think at first they were just looking for, you know, somebody, a good looking kid that come in to play the songs. And obviously we kind of went, it became more than that. And you know, many, you know, singles and, you know, a couple albums later, we had made a mark, I think.
And you were there, I mean, for the biggest period of the band, you know, through working on Twice Shy and Hooked. What led to your departure after the Hooked cycle?
I think I really wanted to stretch out as a writer and a producer. I wanted to produce, and, you know, I had a sound that in my head that I wanted to make happen. And, you know, there's some strained relationships within the band at the time. You know, we'd spent 5 years in a tube, basically, you know, running around in a metal tube all the time, stuffed next to each other in a bus or a plane. And, you know, 5 years of pretty intense work, and good work. But, you know, after a while, it's just like, you know,
you need to breathe.
You need, and it was time for me. And I was very intent on starting a family, and I had the same girlfriend the whole time I was in the band, and I wanted to get married, and it just didn't feel like that life was conducive to what I wanted it next. And I felt that, and it was just like, hey, it's time for you to go. You know, if you're not feeling it, then, and so it was the perfect time for me to go. And I ended up, you know, having my 2 sons and being married, and you know, trying some different things in life after that.
And, you know, again, through that time, you did a couple of solo projects and other things. And then what led you back to working with Jack in his version?
He had asked me years prior, and I was still, I had developed my own company here in Southern California, an internet e-commerce company, and I was pretty busy. And I kind of wasn't up for it really at that time. And so, you know, we kept in touch. And then I saw, you know, I had done some other music projects in you know, 2000s, late 2000s. Went out and played with Slash and did an album with the Australian band 2200, where I funded that band and went on tour in the UK with them. There was stuff I was doing, you know, but I wasn't quite ready to play Great White music again. And he came back to me again. And honestly, I'd gone to see him at the Whiskey here in LA. And I watched the band that he had at the time. And in my mind's eye, it really wasn't. I thought that the legacy of the band and myself, my legacy, his legacy, Alan Niven's legacy, could be better served if I was involved. So at that point, I decided I'm going to get involved. And when he called me, we just went for it.
And you know, we always hear a lot about Jack's health. How is he doing these days?
You know, poor guy. He has been put through the ringer, and and he'll be the first person to say that it's all his own fault, and I suppose that it is. But he consistently bounces back. His voice is amazing still. And I would say if you take any of those singers from that era, they're older now, maybe not quite so vigorous, in their delivery. And I think it's normal for anybody after that amount of time as an older performer to just, if you're at 90% of what you were in your 20s and you can still perform that way and sing that way, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of singers and people
not at all.
Era that can say that. And I would say that Jack is definitely in that group. He still has that sound, the voice, the timbre of his voice is still there. And sometimes he just amazes me, man. So it's been a lot of fun, and he's very
the 2017 record that you guys put out. I mean, he sounds amazing on those songs, And we've seen Motley Crue come back and most of Guns N' Roses. Do you ever see a time when that classic Great White lineup with Mark, Michael, Audie, and you guys would get back together?
Yeah, I would hope that's a possibility. I don't think it is, unfortunately. But in fact, that was one of the reasons why I was in contact with Jack back years ago, because I saw that the 25th anniversary of Twice Shy was coming. I thought, wow, man, we should really do something. And I had purposely been out of the loop. So yeah, I reached out to Mark and Michael at that time because I was a third party, at that point, and they just wouldn't have it. They really, really just hated him. And I was like, well, okay. I mean, I wasn't part of it. I didn't know why they hated him so much. When I left the band, it was still pretty much a unit, but I ended up literally on the other side of the aisle in a federal case with Jack against those guys over the trademark, over the
name. Yep.
And I think I saw some of the true colors there at that point. Why they hate him, I can't judge them all about that, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. So, and that's their loss. It's their loss.
And now, what's coming up next for Shadow and the Thrill? Will it be a wide release of the record? You mentioned vinyl. Any ideas on shows or even festivals, anything like that coming up in 2020?
All of the above. All of the above. Yes, most definitely. I think we will do a more comprehensive release of the album, all the tracks. Definitely we'll have vinyl out in 2020. As far as live is concerned, I think we'll be making a UK appearance in March and April. So I expect to do that with an old friend, Chris Buck, who's a blues guitar player, Welsh blues guitar player. And I've been looking forward to getting back in on stage with him and in the studio with him. So I'll be over there hopefully in March, April time frame. And we continue to just we take good opportunities to play live here in the United States. And the thing we're really excited about is the next single, which is that cover of Gnarls Barkley's Crazy. And
I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things where, like I said, there's always this aha moment when the audience hears us play it live, and we're really excited about that. The video is done, and we're basically just kind of sitting on it and waiting for the right time in the beginning of the year to let it go.
That's great. Well, Tony, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I wish you the best of luck with this project.
Same here, man.
It's fantastic. The songs I've heard, I've just loved. So whenever you have any release dates or tour dates or anything like that, shoot them over. We'll get them out to everybody. And best of luck. Have a great holiday season. And hopefully we'll talk to you again in 2020 if you guys get to hit the road or something like that.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to it. And by all means, if your listeners want to check us out, obviously shadowandthethrill.com, and CD is available. And we certainly should get one out to you so you can hear this stuff.
Oh, that'd be great. And I'll post all your socials and everything on here so people can find you and listen.
Excellent, man. Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Have a great one.
Take care, buddy.
Yep. Bye.